Tell everyone now. But we weren't working on this record at all. This record, we were making another record. When we made the Octopus, we wrote 2 albums. I wrote 2 albums, developed 2. There was the Octopus, which we all know about, and there was another album called Mystoria, which we're still making, which is the opposite of that record. It was very uplifting and joyful. This record was going to be the follow-up to this one. We knew that the follow-up had to be completely different to this one because the Octopus was such a huge record that it was going to be almost impossible to follow it up. You shouldn't even try. But it wasn't going to be ready, and we wanted to make an album. So, literally, in August, I said to Matt, we need to make a record right now. We didn't have any material written for it, because all the material that we'd been writing was for the Mystoria album. Yeah. So, essentially, I said, right, okay, I'm gonna spend 10 days now just sorting out some ideas, and then we're just gonna go and record it. We're gonna just go and make an album, okay? We've never ever done that ever before, and I would never do that by choice. But it was just purely because we absolutely needed to make a record this year. Like, we wanted to make a record before it became, like 3 years.
You have been forced to do
No, just like because we put the Octopus out on our own record label. We got a lot of press, a lot of people like your good selves that really enjoyed the record, and we wanted to not let the name of the band, fade away, but we wanted to rather like keep on the wave of some publicity and whatever, in order to grow the band. So literally for 10 days I just sat with a blank piece of paper, what are we going to do? So I had to, the band's been going since the mid-90s, even like the earliest days, and essentially I picked all the ideas, the strongest ideas that I could remember from the years that have gone past, and turned that into Echo Street. So as a consequence, the ideas that you remember are the ones that are the simplest, the ones that are the most melodic, and the ones that are have a kind of timeless quality, because time has already removed all the other ones. Like Where the River Goes, that's from the 90s. Matmos, all those songs, all the the simplest ideas of them are from that time. I mean, obviously, it was very much just a tiny little fragment of an idea from which to grow all the rest. But essentially, the album wasn't written. It was written 15 years ago. And we just put I just poured the water on the seed, and it just grew. So the album wasn't planned at all. It just happened. We needed to make something happen, so we just went to see what would happen, and the album that came out is just almost luck. Not luck, fate. So that's why it's nothing like the Octopus at all, because it's from a different time and place. But now as well. And I mean, it was great. It was a really lovely way of making a record. I wouldn't want to do it again.
Tu hai scritto 2 canzoni, Interstellar e Extravehicular.
Mm-hmm.
C'è un'idea di spazio? Pace?
I think.
Do you like to think about space?
I think the thing about space, the sea, the sky, it's a vast canvas for which to paint your feelings and emotions and your aspirations and dreams and thoughts in a way that has no boundary. And for music, that's perfect, because that's essentially how music works. There are laws, of the number of notes, in the same way that there are laws, about time and the universe. But it's easy for music to hang on those kind of ideas, and it's not just rock music, like classical music. That they all use this kind of idea of a vast emptiness which to fill with colour and feeling and emotion, and I think that's why I end up there, because it's a place for me to be. I love being by the sea. I love being by the sea, because when I look out at the sea, there's nothing. There's no building. There's no horizon. There's no limit to your thinking. There's nothing to obstruct you. Like in your thoughts. So some of my most powerful, deepest thinking is when I sit just on the beach. Maybe a seagull goes past.
Yes, probably just on a seagull. Yes.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Music is a journey. Like for me, like music should always be a journey. It's not. Sometimes there's no point to it, but that doesn't matter. It's like Interstellar is a great example of, in the same way that Where the River Goes as well.
Right.
Very much. It's just a celebration of going somewhere. It's like when another one of the images that is always very strong for me is when I look up at the sky and see a vapor trail of a plane going somewhere. Because what I'm looking at is not really a plane, but it's an intention. It's an intention of going somewhere and doing something. And we've all been in that situation where we're on a plane and you're looking out the window, and it could be anywhere. It's why it's called Echo Street. Echo Street could be anywhere. Anywhere, anytime. And for me, like, music is a journey. In my journey of being alive. It's how I understand being alive. It's important. It's a form of reflection. We try and, well, we don't try. We just music is that for us.
Right. Between Today and Yesterday è una canzone acustica con dei cori dentro, quindi una cosa un po' distaccata dal tuo modo di fare musica, di scrivere canzoni. E ci sento dentro influenze che vengono anche dagli anni 70. Sei stato influenzato tu da questo genere, da questi generi musicali che c'erano a quel tempo, quindi la psichedelia, perché è un po' difficile cercare di inserire la tua band all'interno di un genere musicale. Di solito sei inserito dentro lo space rock o il progressive rock. Ti senti veramente influenzato da questi generi? Why not?
Definitely. But I mean, it kind of comes back to what I'm saying is music genre. I speak English. Yeah. That's just my tongue. You know, equally I could have spoken Spanish, or it doesn't really make any difference what the language is. What's important is what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
And for us, that's what musical. If people want to say we're space rock, yeah, I can see that. If people want to say we're progressive rock, yeah, I can see that. You know, it doesn't matter to us. Like, it doesn't really. It's not important. What we're talking about is important. It just happens to be through the language of electric, you know, guitars, pedals, and you know, and drums, and that's really as far as I ever really think about it. I mean, it's helpful to talk about style and genre in a marketing sense, absolutely, you know, and that's, to be honest, if we're talking about Amplifier's commercial success, it's a bit of a problem that we don't really sit in any of these kind of, you know, genres, clearly defined genres, because it makes it really difficult to market the band.
I understand.
Which, you know,
yes,
which drives a lot of people nuts, including myself.
Probably inside the stores like HMV.
Yeah, I know.
They don't know where to put this.
Is it in the metal category? Or is it in the pop rock category? You know, and more often than not, it just ends up not being in any category.
Yes, right.
But you know, it's at the end of the day, people get confused about why we should make music, and for me, when the band didn't work was when we were making music as the point of our lives, but actually making music should be the byproduct of your life. And in the same way that you know, like the thoughts that you think are the byproduct of your everyday life, you know, and that's essentially when we've made all our best music, it's because we live our lives and then we express our lives through our music, through writing songs. When we have to write songs as the purpose, as the point, then you lose your point of perspective.
Yes. Mary Rose.
Mary Rose.
Who she is?
Mary Rose. Well,
it's a real person or it's a fiction?
It's a real person. I know lots of Mary Roses.
Okay.
You know, Mary Rose is also the name of a very famous boat ship that from like 16th century.
Yes,
you know this one.
Yes, Mary Rose.
But I think the point is, it's none of those things. Mary Rose is just an idea of a sense of spirit, sense of freedom. This is Sel Balamir from Amplifier. How you doing? You are on SOund36.com. And you'll be pleased to know you're in a nice, good, refined, cultured place.
Thank you very much, Sel.
A blackbird came at the crack of day. From the other side of a window I heard it say, it's time to go. Don't be filled with the fear soul, waiting on the other side of a black door. It's time to go. you know the pine. I go where the river goes, where the river goes, I go. The tide, I go where the river goes, where the river goes, I go. The song I sang well, the message fell on deaf ears. To death I'm tired to hear. A simple blackbird melody, the sweetly singing of the sun.